Hey guys, how y'all doing? Um, so uh, just a quick, no, probably not a quick video. Anyways, I'm gonna try to make this really quick. I was just going to touch on the subject of some of our American history. Um, um, Civil War, the rebel flag. Um, Most people associate the rebel flag with slavery, and I mean, there's so many things about the Civil War that people don't really understand. Um, the Civil War, it wasn't about freeing the slaves. It was or keeping their slaves, irrelevant of what you know core curriculum regular school history wants to teach. Truth of the matter is, it was about taxation without representation. The very thing that we you know started the Civil War. I mean the American Revolution. Um, it was one of the primary reasons. Um, kind of, basically the government take and take and take and take. And what what happened in what happened in the South is, they didn't have the same amount of representatives in the Senate and Congress that the northern states did, and there were laws being passed that affected the South that they didn't have any say so in. And initially the Union, the United States of America, was a voluntary thing. People wanted to join, and they joined voluntarily, and so they felt like they could secede voluntarily, since things that benefited the South were no longer relevant. You know, they were passing laws that benefited the industrial North. Running roads to people's lands. Stuff along those lines. And basically, at the end of the day, dictating what the South was and wasn't going to do, and there was nothing the South could do about it, because they didn't have the same, enough representatives um, to affect the vote, you know, for their states. Um, and So they said, "Hey, we're just going to leave. I'm going to secede from this voluntary union, since it doesn't seem to be of a mutually beneficial agreement." And the North said, "But the hell you are," and hence the beginning of the Civil War. And one of the big benefits of it was the Emancipation Proclamation. But the Emancipation Proclamation was uh, done a couple years into the war. It was a strategic move um, done by Lincoln and his generals to economically cripple the South. The idea of it was, if you freed the slaves and they weren't there to tend the agricultural, economic um, South, um, they'd have to stop fighting and go home. They couldn't fund the war anymore. Up until that point, they were, under undermanned and underfunded, and they were winning battles. They were smashing the gas. The North was winning by sheer numbers. There was, you could take 10 Southern soldiers and put them up against, double that number, triple that number with the Union, and then they were handling up. And at the end of the day, they got outspent. Sounds familiar. Um, um, but anyways, the North. Those guys were just as prejudiced or as the South. I mean, they had a few Frederick Douglasses and stuff like that, but I mean, you went a lot of places, and blacks didn't have like rights per se. I mean, if that was the case, they wouldn't have had civil rights movements that took place, all the years later. But there was a lot of racism, or not racism. I guess racism. I mean, because racism has different spectrums. But but mainly a lot of prejudiceness and bigotry. That was taking place, and uh, interesting story. The country of Liberia was bought and created by President Lincoln, and it was supposed to be a sort of reparation for the black people. I mean, they had like ships. I think they had a couple ships that actually took some of the freed slaves back over. And they literally gave them their own country. Like, hey, hey, whoops, sorry, sorry, shit happened, but here's your own country. and and then fire truck. And before it could be implemented, the President Lincoln was assassinated before it could be fully implemented, and it never got fully followed through. Um, and so yeah, that didn't happen. The there's a book. Comes across semi sort of anti-Semitic. But the basic core of the book is very informational. But it's called War Cycles, Peace Cycles. And it basically goes back to like, Egyptian and Babylonian and, all these ancient civilizations to more current ones, and it talks about the rise and fall of civilizations with the economics, slavery, freeing of slave usury, basically. When no more money could be brought into existence, subjugated peoples would be freed or given equal status in the country, so more people could be become slaves to the money, and there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, there was, it also, touched on the rise and fall of civilizations that no longer had a common bond or a common unity or a common goal, because they had eaten up so many other countries that eventually over time had, gained or acquired equal status within the country, and the dissension of all these different cultures and the stress fractures in the foundation of what was once a great civilization became prevalent and rampant, and it basically just tore the country under. And regardless of what side you fall on, common ground and a common bond and unity amongst men, can be a very strong one. You throw a bunch of people in the mix that all have different goals and directions of where they want to go with an organization or a country or whatever, and it's the beginning of the end. But check it out: War Cycles, Peace Cycles. So yeah, it wasn't in the plan to send all of the black people that had been brought over here back over to Liberia. It's just one aspect of it, but check it out if you like to read. Anyways, that's it. Holy shit, I might get done before 10 minutes. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Everything's not what it seems. History is written by the victors. There's more to it in many situations than we know, and you just got to take the time to look into it. I myself, due to experiences in my life, people have opinions on things, be it race or many other aspects, and as opposed to being told what I was supposed to think about something, because of the people I associated with, I read and I studied, and and if you asked me a question about why I believe what I believed, I could give you a valid answer. I could break it down for you, or I could say why I didn't believe that. Why, I don't know what the hell those guys are talking about, but this is what I believe, and this is where I stand on stuff. And you know, I'm a firm believer in knowing what you believe, why you believe it, and where you're going with it. You know, anybody who doesn't know where they stand can fall for anything. Paraphrase that, but I didn't quote it right. He who stands for nothing will fall for anything. Something like that. Yeah. So just kind of know what you believe, know where you're going. Anyways, yeah. Shit. Okay. Didn't make 10 minutes, but I am gonna end this before 15, 16, 17 minutes. That's it. I will end this, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.